We lived in the house to my left for 12 years or so, and we always thought the garden was quite a fair size and that it would make a good building plot. And so really that idea has been knocking around for quite a few years, and this is the culmination of it into the house that's going to go up to my right in the garden of the existing house. The way to go about building a house is to first of all get your wife's consent to what will be a disruption and quite an undertaking. So that can take a while for you both to have that shared vision, and then it can start to come alive. Appointing architects. Well, in our case, we started with a conceptual architect who helped us over some of the early hurdles in terms of, can we really do this? What might it look like? At that stage, we were still having some big ideas, such as a 3-story house and a cantilevered balcony. All of these things need to get out of your system on the way to a more detailed design, which we were able to get with our second architectural technologist, who helped us to come up with the specification and bring it into budget as well. So that was the journey really, from big ideas to realizable ideas, and that's where we went. Plus then you get a structural engineer, which has been very important. This week I've seen the importance of that with the depth of the foundation, the design of the steel work and the loads that's going to be placed on the open plan area. So all the professionals involved, the topographical surveyor, great to give us datum points for where things are and where things aren't, which is probably more important than groundwork issues. So all the way we've appointed a series of professionals who have been great and all had their role to play in guiding a novice client along to this stage and beyond. We did have a quantity surveyor, but as we then decided to go design and build for the remaining part of the design with a contractor who really are their own project managers. So that's the one-stop shop approach was attractive to us. And finding the right builder is a challenge, because again you need to get the balance right between a good match for you, who have the same principles as you, and the quality and integrity that you want. And we feel we've got that. Very happy with that appointment. My own background's in the law, with construction law, so I was careful to sign a building contract. But in the best old traditions, it's going to stay in the drawer throughout, and we'll just go ahead from there. When I'm lecturing, one of my big themes is about risk in construction, and in construction law that usually means risks in the contract and risks in terms of unforeseen events that happen. For instance, ground conditions is the biggest risk on a construction project. We've got through that risk because the building inspector's happy with the depth of foundations, there's good soil underneath the topsoil, and we've mitigated that risk. And other risks we've insured against. We've got professional indemnity insurance, and we've going to get a new house warranty, so there's those risks dealt with. There are of course financial risks, and supply chain issue risk is probably now the biggest item we have to consider, given the scarcity of materials in the COVID crisis. So no project is risk-free. It's how you mitigate those risks and come up with a strategy for handling them. So a little bit about the house itself. We've gone for a blockwork construction. We were originally looking at a lightweight Durasol product, but it's quite hard for traditional builders to take a leap of faith with that sort of material, and ultimately we didn't want that to be a deal breaker for us. So blockwork construction with a exterior which is then clad in steel, zinc looking steel, and white render underneath. And we've added some features such as an air source heat pump and an array of solar panels. There'll be underfloor heating and an open plan area and a glazed area to enjoy the view down the field. So those are the features of the build, and we think it would be an 8-month construction period, and hopefully open for March 2021. Hello and welcome to this first video in the series House Build. I'm Jim Mason and I'm building this house here in the plot right behind me, and the first thing that's going to happen is the extension here is going to be taken down and the greenery will be removed as the builders arrive on Wednesday. Today is Sunday, so just a few days to go. The excitement's building. This is the second video for the establishing shots of the house build project. I'm Jim Mason. Just to get your bearings, I was stood over there before, and now we're looking towards the west. There's still the extension that's coming down, and this green expanse is the building plot itself. Just wanted to see what it looks like before the mess starts. Hello again, this is video number 3. I just wanted to get another establishing shot in. This time you can see the site access is along the pathway here, or the driveway. So I'm hoping the builders will use this access, this for their turning circle and vehicles arriving, and behind the hedge will be the plot itself, and of course that hedge will be going. So we're getting close to the build now, and this is the site office where we've got the plans and a bit of a breakout space for the builders once they start. And the other arrival, which has got me most excited, is that of the portaloo. Take a look. Getting real. End of day one's building activity, and you can see that we've made some progress in taking down the extension. It was made safe by the electrician and the plumber, capped off the radiators. We had a couple of demolishers to carefully take the tiles off, and a couple of ground workers to take off the fireplace. And you can see, point of note here is the construction of the wall. This extension's about 15 years, 20 years old, and there's quite good inner leaf cavity filled with insulation, and the outer block. That's typical of a wall construction. So yeah, off to a good start. Hi, hello there, it's Jim for the build here. You can see the extension is down now, and we're ready to go with the groundworks. Tony, the operator, is a very skilled magician with the digger. He's able to do the smallest job very well. So yeah, we're all good to go on day 3. So pushing ahead nicely. Morning, this is the end of the first week's work. The extension is gone, and we're now ready to take off the topsoil and to dig the foundations. So quite messy. A bit of rain has softened the ground, but yeah, we're ready to build rather than demolish, which is a good place to be. And with the help of Biggie and Tupac, our digger and dumper, we are ready to roll. This is another part of the yard where I've been working on the bricks recovered from the house extension knocked down. We've been cleaning them up for mortar off them, so we can reuse them for gate pillars or dwarf walls or something else to reuse, in line with the circular economy in the built environment and the reuse and recycling of materials. Morning, welcome to the site. We've got an early morning visitor this morning, Chris Livel from Health and Safety Executive. Chris, please tell us your purpose of your visit. And
okay, my name is Chris Livel, Senior Safety Officer, and this site has been notified under the CDM regulations and the Health and Safety at Work Act to be notified to the HSE as a notifiable project. Therefore, the construction company who's involved with this build has a legal duty to do that, to involve the Health and Safety Executive. Purpose of the visit today is just to get an early step on site, to see what's going on, to get a gist of what is going on, the concept of the contract, which is most important on health and safety, making sure that documentation is in place, first of all, the legal documentation, which is onerous in some cases, but a necessity by law. And then basically we will carry on carrying out monthly visits to the site to ensure that the principal contractor and the client, obviously, as their duties under the CDM regulations are fulfilled.
Thank you. Just a quick one to show you the setting out strings that have been put out to give us straight lines and to anticipate the centre point and the outside facing wall and the interior block work. Very skilled job to get this right, and we've just been round and seen that it's all spot on, so we're about to start digging. Great. There we have it, first spade in the ground. Now we're building. So far so good with the first bucketfuls. Seems to be progressing well. The building inspector coming out to check on the level of the foundations, so fingers crossed he's happy with the depth. End of the first day's dig, and they've made good progress. Gone down 1.6 metres. Building surveyor was happy with that, building inspector. And the soil is good soil once you get through the topsoil and loose soil. So yes, they're ready to come back tomorrow to finish the foundations. So it turns out we haven't quite finished with the foundations. The NHBC inspector came out and said that the proximity to the hedge meant we have to go deeper on the back. So this is quite a common thing where you take into account the trees and their water demand on the soil and the potential for heaving and weakening the foundation. So that guarantee from the NHBC is very important for the saleability of the house. So we're doing what they say and going deeper. Thank you. Just another quick word on the foundations. You can see here the strata and the topsoil, which is not going to be good, but once you get through the topsoil, you're into the good soil which can support the foundations properly. Here there's a bit of clay sand mix, so quite good soil. And on the far side of the trench there you see the remains of a Hillman Minx, which was a car that was buried by the last people that would open the ground here. So Hillman Minx, a classic, but probably not in pristine condition. So we're live with the pouring here, and the challenge here is to keep the flow of the concrete at the right level. So the scoop is moving it around so we get to top of concrete, and then we can move to the rest of the foundation. So yeah, it's like Piccadilly Circus around here, 7 loads needed. So we're at the end of week 2 of the build, and great progress has been made. We now can see the reduced level and start to see the shape and the size of the house, which is great, and the levels, and we can start to imagine the walls going up as they will start to next week. But the best thing about tonight is the light. Check out the light in the valley beyond and the lovely sunset over the neighbouring house. Wonderful stuff.